Atlantis, a lost city, a vanished empire, a mystery beneath the waves. Few legends have captured our imagination like this one. For thousands of years, explorers and dreamers have searched for its secrets, drawn by tales of power, wealth, and a civilization wiped out in a single day. What is it about Atlantis that keeps us hooked? Is it the hope of finding a forgotten world, or the thrill of solving history's greatest puzzle? The legend has taken us from ancient texts to modern expeditions, each clue adding to the myth. Imagine a place so vivid in description you can almost hear the city's bustle and feel the sea spray. Was Atlantis real? If so, where did it go? And what can its story teach us today? The search for Atlantis is a global adventure, one that's far from over. So grab your gear and your curiosity. The journey begins now.
Things you only talk about at the back of the cave.
To begin our search for Atlantis, we have to go back to the very roots of the legend, with Plato, the legendary Greek philosopher whose ideas have shaped Western thought for centuries. Around 360 BC, Plato wrote about Atlantis in his dialogues, Timaeus and Critias. He presented the story as a factual account, claiming it was passed down from Solon, a respected Athenian statesman and lawmaker who had traveled to Egypt in search of wisdom and knowledge. According to Plato, Solon heard the tale from Egyptian priests in the city of Sais. These priests told him that Atlantis was a powerful civilization that existed 9,000 years before their own era, making it a story already ancient in Plato's time. The priests described a mighty island nation beyond the Pillars of Hercules. Atlantis, they said, was rich, technologically advanced, and ambitious, so powerful that it waged war against ancient Athens and the rest of the known world, only to be destroyed in a single day and night by the wrath of the gods. Plato didn't just spin a yarn for entertainment. He used the story of Atlantis as a cautionary tale, warning about the dangers of pride, unchecked ambition, and the inevitable downfall of even the greatest societies when they lose their moral compass. The story was meant to spark debate among his fellow philosophers about what makes an ideal society, the nature of justice, and the flaws of human nature that can lead to ruin. But was Atlantis simply a fable, a philosophical lesson wrapped in myth? Or could it be a distant memory of a real place lost to time? That's the question that has fueled centuries of speculation, inspiring countless explorers, scholars, and dreamers to search for clues in ancient texts and forgotten ruins. Plato's account is the foundation of the Atlantis legend, and the reason we're still searching for answers today, piecing together fragments of myth and history. Was Plato recording a lost chapter of human history? Or was he inventing a myth to teach a lesson that still resonates? The answer remains as elusive as Atlantis itself, hidden somewhere between legend and reality, waiting to be discovered. So, what did Plato say Atlantis was like? What was this legendary place that has captured imaginations for centuries? He described a paradise, an island, larger than Libya and Asia Minor combined, rich in resources and beauty. Atlantis was said to be a land where nature flourished, and the environment was as breathtaking as it was bountiful. Lush forests, abundant wildlife, fertile plains, and mysterious metals like orichalcum made Atlantis a land of wonder. Rivers flowed with clear water, and the soil was so rich that crops grew in abundance, feeding its people with ease. Its people, descended from Poseidon and a mortal woman, were wise and just. At least at first. They were said to possess a unique blend of divine wisdom and human ingenuity, creating a society unlike any other. They built a society that valued virtue over wealth, living in harmony and ruling a vast empire. Their cities were marvels of architecture, with grand temples, bridges, and harbors bustling with life. But over generations, their divine nature faded. Greed and ambition took over. The Atlanteans slowly lost sight of their original values, and the pursuit of power began to corrupt their hearts. The Atlanteans became obsessed with power, launching wars of conquest. Their armies grew, and their ambition stretched far beyond their island home. Their hubris set the stage for disaster. The gods, angered by their arrogance, decided to punish Atlantis for its fall from grace. Atlantis became a cautionary tale, a golden age lost to arrogance. Its splendor vanished, leaving only ruins and legends behind. The legend is as much about human nature as it is about a lost city. It asks us to reflect on our own choices and the consequences of pride and excess. Was it ever real, or just a mirror for our own hopes and flaws? The story of Atlantis continues to fascinate, inviting endless debate and speculation. That's the mystery that keeps us searching, hoping to find a trace of paradise, or perhaps a lesson for our own world. At the heart of Atlantis was its legendary capital, a city unlike any other in the ancient world, meticulously designed in a series of concentric rings of land and water. This unique layout was not just for beauty, but for defense and organization, making the city both stunning and secure. Massive canals and elegant bridges connected each ring, allowing ships to glide straight to the city's very center. These waterways served as both transportation routes and protective moats, making Atlantis a marvel of both engineering and strategy. The outer walls gleamed with polished brass and tin, catching the sunlight and dazzling visitors, while the innermost walls shone with fiery orichalcum, a rare, almost mythical metal said to glow like fire. In the very center stood a grand temple dedicated to Poseidon, the city's divine protector. Its columns were adorned with gold and silver, and inside stood a towering statue of the sea god himself, watching over the city with an air of majesty and power. The city bustled with life. Markets overflowed with goods from across the world. Homes lined the streets, and military barracks housed the city's formidable defenders. Atlantis supported a vast population and maintained a powerful navy, ready to defend its wealth and influence. Plato even gave astonishing numbers. Over 1,000 ships filled the harbors, and 1,000,000 soldiers stood ready for battle, making Atlantis a true superpower of its age. This was no ordinary city. It was the command center of an empire, a place where decisions shaped the fate of nations. The design was both breathtaking and strategic, a marvel of ancient engineering that inspired awe and envy in equal measure. But all this splendor, all this power, could not save Atlantis from its ultimate fate. Disaster loomed on the horizon, threatening everything the Atlanteans had built. The city's rise and fall became the ultimate symbol of lost greatness, a cautionary tale whispered through the ages. Its ruins, if they exist at all, remain hidden beneath the waves, silent, mysterious, and waiting to be discovered by those who still dream of Atlantis. Atlantis's origin is pure mythic drama. The gods divided the world, and Poseidon claimed the island, reshaping it to protect his beloved Plato. Together they had 10 sons, future kings of Atlantis, with Atlas as the supreme ruler. This divine bloodline ruled wisely for generations, guided by Poseidon's laws. Atlanteans were powerful, just, and prosperous, their empire stretching across Europe and Africa. But as the divine faded, human flaws took over. Greed and ambition replaced virtue, and the Atlanteans set out to conquer the world. Their arrogance angered the gods. Zeus decided to punish Atlantis for its corruption. The story is a classic tale of hubris, divine gifts squandered by mortal failings. Atlantis's destruction was both a warning and a mystery. Was it a real disaster or a myth about the dangers of unchecked power? The answer is lost to time. Where was Atlantis? Plato placed it beyond the Pillars of Hercules, likely the Strait of Gibraltar, pointing to the Atlantic Ocean. Some believe it was a real island, now lost to the sea, perhaps near the Azores or Canary Islands. Others look to the Mediterranean, linking Atlantis to the eruption of Thera, Santorini, and the fall of the Minoan civilization. The Minoans were advanced, with a powerful navy and a sudden catastrophic end, parallels that are hard to ignore. Theories stretch from the Caribbean to Antarctica, each with its own clues and controversies. Underwater formations like the Bimini Road have fueled speculation, though most are natural. The search for Atlantis is global, with every new discovery adding to the legend. Is it a real place, a distorted memory, or pure myth? The map of Atlantis is as mysterious as the story itself. Not all Atlantis theories are grounded in science. Some venture into the wild and the weird. Ignatius Donnelly claimed Atlantis was the mother of all civilizations, linking it to everything from pyramids to the biblical flood. Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, described Atlantis as a high-tech society destroyed by its own inventions, predicting its remains would be found near Bimini. These ideas, though lacking evidence, have shaped popular imagination. Atlantis has become a symbol for lost knowledge, ancient technology, and spiritual mysteries. Mainstream science is skeptical, but the legend thrives on speculation. The wilder the theory, the more Atlantis endures. What does science say? Geologists and archaeologists are skeptical of a sunken continent in the Atlantic. Plate tectonics and ocean mapping show no evidence of a lost landmass matching Plato's description. A civilization as grand as Atlantis should have left traces, artifacts, ruins, inscriptions, but none have been found from 9,600 BC. Most scholars see Plato's story as allegory, not history, a warning about the dangers of wealth and power. Yet, the Santorini-Minoan theory offers a possible real-world inspiration, a powerful civilization destroyed by a volcanic disaster. Over centuries, the story may have grown, blending fact and myth. Atlantis, then, is less a place and more a powerful memory. The debate continues, fueled by new discoveries and old mysteries. Is Atlantis a lost city, a cautionary tale, or both? The legend's power lies in its ambiguity, and that's why we keep searching. After all the searching and debate, Atlantis remains unsolved, a legend balanced between fact and fiction. Its allure is in the unknown, inspiring explorers and dreamers to keep looking. Atlantis taps into our hope for lost worlds and our fear of repeating old mistakes. It's a story about pride, downfall, and the quest for meaning. Whether real or imagined, Atlantis challenges us to explore, question, and learn. New technology and discoveries may one day bring answers, or more mysteries. The legend itself is a treasure, reminding us to keep searching for what lies beneath the waves. Atlantis endures not because we found it, but because we still want to.